Hi there. We are on day 218, or 318, wow. 318 of our Through the New Testament in 1 Year. And today we are going to finish up Hebrews chapter 10. And it starts with therefore. Let's jump back and see what they were talking about with the therefores, right? Where there is forgiveness of these, there is no longer any offering for sin. Okay. So he was talking about no more need for sacrifices, since Jesus sacrificed once for all, the perfect sacrifice, and is no longer needed. Even though that you still do it, right? Okay. Here we go. Full assurance of faith. Therefore, brothers, since we have confidence to enter the holy places by the blood of Jesus, right? Never could before. By the new and living way that he opened for us through the curtain, that is, through his flesh, right? Curtain was torn, and now the room is open, right? And since we have a great priest over the house of God, let us draw near with a true heart in full assurance of faith, with our hearts sprinkled clean from an evil conscience and our bodies washed with pure water. Let us hold fast the confession of our hope without wavering, for he who promised is faithful. And let us consider how to stir up one another to love and good works, not neglecting to meet together, right? As is the habit of some, but encouraging one another, and all the more as you see the day drawing near. For if we go on sinning deliberately after receiving the knowledge of the truth, there no longer remains a sacrifice for sins, but a fearful expectation of judgment. Get that? And a fury of fire that will consume the adversaries. Anyone who has set aside the law of Moses dies without mercy on the evidence of 2 or 3 witnesses. How much worse punishment do you think will be deserved by the one who has trampled underfoot the Son of God, and has profaned the blood of the covenant by which he was sanctified, and has outraged the Spirit of grace? Do they do that now? Yeah, they do. For we know him who said, vengeance is mine, I will repay, and again the Lord will judge his people. It is a fearful thing to fall into the hands of the living God. Yes, it is. But recall the former days when, after you were enlightened, you endured a hard struggle with suffering, sometimes being publicly exposed to reproach and affliction, and sometimes being partners with those so treated. For you had compassion on those in prison, and you joyfully accepted the plundering of your property, since you knew that you yourselves had a better possession and an abiding one. Therefore, do not throw away your confidence, which is a great reward, for you have need of endurance, so that when you have done the will of God, you may receive what is promised. For, right? Yet a little while, and the coming one will come and will not delay. But my righteous one shall live by faith, and if he shrinks back, my soul has no pleasure in him. Do not shrink back, right? But we are not those who shrink back and are destroyed, but of those who have faith and preserve their souls, right? There you go. That's chapter 10, right? And tomorrow we're splitting up chapter 11. They're going to split this up into 2 weeks, probably. So, and tomorrow we'll do all about faith tomorrow, right? We'll do the first half of 11 tomorrow. So there we go. Lots of stuff, right? Lots of stuff. No more need for sacrifices, right? And if you look down, if you trash the gift of Jesus, right? His death on the cross for the salvation of sins once and for all, right? God's not going to have any use for you. Okay? And a lot of people do that, okay? A lot of Jews do that still, right? Someday they'll come around. Someday they won't have a choice, right? So there you go. Catch up on anything you may have missed, and give us a like if you think about it, and we'll see you again tomorrow.